There's a particular kind of woman who moves through Paris at her own pace. She's not performing for anyone, and yet somehow every head in the room finds its way to her. That's the power of Linda Wright, not because of the clothes on her back, but because of how deeply comfortable she is being exactly who she is. At 77 years old, this woman owns a boutique in one of the most fashionable cities in the world, and she carries herself with a kind of effortless command that most of us spend decades searching for. The way she approaches getting dressed goes against nearly everything we've been taught. No chasing trends, no overcomplicating things, no trying to be anyone other than herself. And what strikes me most is how straightforward her principles really are once you break them down. Today, I'm walking you through 5 lessons Linda Wright taught me about style. And I'll tell you right now, number 5 completely reshaped the way I approach my closet every single morning. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Parker Holloway, and today we are diving into one of my all-time favorite style icons, a 77-year-old woman living in Paris named Linda Wright, who fundamentally changed the way I think about my wardrobe. So let's jump right in. Number 1, she anchors everything around a single silhouette. This was the thing that caught me off guard the most when I first began looking closely at how Linda Wright gets dressed. Most of us have wardrobes packed with totally different shapes. A flowing dress on one hanger, a sharp blazer on the next, wide-leg pants crammed beside skinny jeans, and then we stand there confused about why getting dressed feels so chaotic. Linda doesn't operate that way. She identified the silhouette that flatters her frame and fits her lifestyle, and she stayed with it. In her case, it's a relaxed but deliberate shape. Think gently oversized layers with clean structure, nothing clinging, nothing overdone. And the payoff is that every single piece in her wardrobe plays well together because they all follow the same proportional framework. I genuinely believe this is one of the most freeing things a woman can do for herself. Rather than endlessly chasing whatever shape is trending this season, you discover the outline that makes you feel like your strongest self, and you build outward from there. If you're unsure how to begin, think back to the last time you wore something and felt completely at home in it. What was the shape of that outfit? That's your foundation. And just wait until you hear what she does with color, because that's where everything starts clicking together. I'll come back to that shortly. Number 2, she treats neutrals like a vocabulary, not a fallback. This is something I honestly never quite grasped until I studied the way Linda constructs an outfit. Most of us see neutrals as default settings. Black, navy, beige, gray, conversation. She layers varying shades and textures within the same neutral family, so the outfit carries depth and warmth without ever being loud. A camel coat draped over a cream knit paired with taupe trousers. It sounds understated, but in reality it produces this beautifully refined effect, where each piece is subtly responding to the others. What I find so wonderful about this is how much pressure it takes off. You don't need a bold pop of color to look remarkable. You simply need to learn how to let quiet tones have a conversation with each other. And if you're worried that neutrals might flatten your complexion, Linda's answer is texture. She blends matte with knit with woven, so there's always movement and visual depth, even when the color palette stays hushed. This is also what makes her very last rule so striking, the one about what she deliberately leaves behind. And believe me, we are absolutely getting there. Number 3, she puts her money into fabric, not logos. I think this might be the single most useful takeaway from everything on this list. Linda Wright is not dressed head to toe in designer labels. She's not collecting logos or chasing brand prestige. What she does care about is how a garment feels against her skin and how it moves when she walks. She gravitates toward natural fibers, wool, silk, cashmere, cotton, because they hang differently and they wear differently than anything synthetic. And you can genuinely see the difference. There's a reason a simple cashmere pullover carries itself completely differently than a polyester version, even when the shape is exactly the same. The fabric is carrying the outfit. This is the space where quality and fit outweigh price tags every time. You don't have to spend wildly, but you do have to start noticing what the piece is actually constructed from. If you've ever been disappointed by a fast fashion buy that looked incredible on the rack and fell apart after a single wash cycle, this is your turning point. Start reading the fabric composition label before you even glance at the brand name. I know it seems like a minor habit, but I can tell you from experience, it transforms how your wardrobe looks and holds up over time. And here's the detail that rarely gets mentioned. Natural fibers genuinely improve with wear. They grow softer, they shape themselves to your body, they take on a kind of richness that synthetic fabrics simply cannot replicate. Linda's clothes look beautifully worn in the most intentional sense, because the materials she selects actually reward time rather than resisting it. And I think there's something deeply lovely in that concept, choosing pieces that grow better alongside you instead of deteriorating. Now, everything I've walked you through so far, committing to your silhouette, learning the language of neutrals, investing in better fabrics, most women could arrive at those conclusions with enough patience and observation. But rules 4 and 5 are on another level. These are the ones that draw the line between women who look well-dressed and women who look genuinely unforgettable. And Linda Wright lives by both of them every single day. Number 4. She chooses one signature accessory to anchor the whole look. This is such a clever strategy, and it's one that most of us never even think about. Linda Wright nearly always has a single accessory that holds the entire outfit in place. Sometimes it's a gorgeous silk scarf. Sometimes it's a pair of carefully selected earrings. Sometimes it's an oversized pair of sunglasses. The key isn't which accessory she picks, it's that she selects one piece and allows it to be the finishing stroke on an otherwise understated outfit. Most of us instinctively do the reverse. We pile on a necklace and earrings and a bracelet and a scarf because we assume we need layers of decoration to look polished. Linda proves that the truth runs the other direction. One intentional selection gives the eye a landing place and tells the world you know exactly what you're doing. I'm drawn to this idea because it's so immediately doable. Chances are you already have that anchor piece sitting in your jewelry box right now. Maybe it's a watch that feels like part of your identity, or a pair of gold hoops that instantly sharpen any outfit. The secret isn't accumulating more, it's committing to one and giving it room to breathe. If that feels uncomfortable at first, try this. Set out your full outfit and then place just one accessory beside it. If your hand reaches for a second piece, stop, step back, and take in the whole picture. Almost every time, the look is already finished, and that additional piece would actually dilute the impact of the first. That's the restraint Linda exercises daily. And this leads straight into the final thing she showed me, the one lesson I return to more often than anything else. Number 5. She knows precisely what to leave out. This is the lesson that changed the game for me, and I believe it's the core reason Linda Wright carries herself the way she does at 77. It's not about what she puts on her body. It's about what she consciously chooses to remove. Every single morning when she gets dressed, she's editing. She's examining the outfit and questioning what doesn't earn its place. And that requires a depth of confidence that most of us are still developing. The confidence to trust that less really is sufficient. I think so many of us layer things on because we're scared of going unnoticed. We convince ourselves that without something loud or something trendy or something that signals we're keeping pace, the world might just look past us entirely. And Linda's entire presence is living proof that the reverse is true. The women who truly command a room, who genuinely stop people in their tracks, are the ones who arrive looking completely purposeful and completely at peace. Not because they're wearing the most, but because every single thing on them was placed there with intention. This isn't minimalism as an aesthetic exercise. It's about having enough faith in yourself to understand that you, your bearing, your energy, the way you move through a space are already more than sufficient. The clothing simply exists to echo that. And I think that's what makes Linda Wright so captivating. She's not attempting to appear younger. She's not attempting to mirror someone else. She's just arriving as the most assured version of herself and letting everything non-essential drop away. That is style, and every single one of us is capable of it. That woman moving through Paris at her own pace, who draws every eye without lifting a finger to ask, she's not wearing more than you are. She simply knows precisely what to leave behind. So here's what I want to ask you. What's one piece you could take away from your go-to outfit tomorrow morning and actually feel more yourself, not less? I have a feeling the answer will catch you off guard. And on the subject of surprises, next week I'm exploring a woman whose philosophy runs almost entirely counter to Linda's, and yet she lands that same effortless result. You are absolutely going to want to be here for that. All right, everyone, that is everything I have on a 77-year-old Parisian woman who changed the way I approach getting dressed. I hope this gave you something valuable and maybe even a little spark of inspiration. If it did, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe so you're ready for what's coming next. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's your go-to anchor accessory? That one piece you always reach for when you want to feel completely put together? Drop it below. I genuinely want to know. Be sure to find me on Instagram, and as always, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you all in the next one.